You know what it is. Unique Mecca Audio, man. I'm bringing you a rare show today. I mean, really rare show today where we're inside the cell in California. We're not going to say what prison, but this is inside California. So you see, I'm going to introduce you to a young man that got locked up at the age of 16, and he's now 52 years old and counting. All right. He's going to tell you the rest. I'm bringing him up. All right. Tell him who you are and where you from.
Yo, it's your boy Hashtag Freej Burton. I'm out here in California. I've been in maximum security prison for the past 36 years since I was 16 years old. I'm from Watts, California. For those that are not familiar with Watts, you probably heard of the Watts riots back in 1965. You probably heard of people like Kendrick Lamar and them, J Rock, and all them people that comes from our community out in Watts. I was arrested back in 1989 for a murder, a gang murder. I've been fighting.
Hold up. Before you start, show them where you living. I want them to see where you live, and then we're going to get to that. Show them the cell. Let them see how you living, big bro.
Matter of fact, let
You
me
know?
look.
All right, he going to get this right. So we're going to show you the inside of a cell in California. He's getting it right. So now let's go up top. All right.
So right here, this is so y'all know this is really it. I don't hopefully the you can y'all see that? Can y'all see? Can y'all see what that shit look like? That's what it look. This is what it look like. Some of my books that I got published, y'all. This is what prison look like. This is what it look like. Couple pair of sneakers down there. Hey DB. Let y'all see. I'm trying to get some of the fellas up. Because right now we've been on lockdown. We in the middle of a race riot. This is where everything goes on and shit. It's bunk bed. It's all this shit. Yeah, but this is a prison cell. Hopefully none of y'all don't have to ever come and live this kind of life that I've been living for majority of my life.
All right. So that's where we at. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
tell them about your case and how you got locked up and what was it like growing up in Watts and how did you join the bounty hunters?
Well, growing up, matter of fact, let me ask some of my partners out here. Let me see if I get some of my partners out here to get on here because they could probably tell a story. Then I'm gonna take it from there. Hey, hey, little man. Hey, little man. Hey, where y'all at, bro?
Oh, he just went. He went to go do something.
You want to tell your story real quick because it's a lot of people that want to know what it's like doing this prison. I'm trying to figure out how to get on there. How you doing, bro?
I'm all right. How you doing today?
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm 37. I've been down for about 10 years now. I'm about the west side of Pomona. You know, I don't really know what to say. All I can say is that, I made a decision in life, when I was a child, and I'm still dealing with it today. And I'm just trying to make it better for everybody else.
Is that right? So what is you doing with your life in here?
As of right now, I'm working on getting my associate's degree in business. I finally got my high school diploma. And right now, I'm just working towards going on board, staying positive and staying violence free. Just trying to just stick with the brothers and do as much as I can to help out everybody.
And when you say that, right, being that me and you on the so-called opposite ends of the spectrum, although I be wanting people to understand that this gangbanging shit ain't what they think it is when you come to these prison yards.
Right.
So being that you are allegedly affiliated with the Crips, and I am a documented blood.
Right.
How is our relationships up in here?
We just brothers. You know that you up right here. You only, especially the ones that are positive and that's willing to teach us how to change ourselves. We try to stick together.
Right. So me being so, are you saying that me as a blood, growing up a blood, how is my influence on the yard with the Crips and the Bloods?
Overall, it's always positive. It don't even half the time we don't even see that we are Crips and Bloods. Majority of the time, we just seen as we just black people. and we just trying to help each other get up out of here. Every day is just we just trying to make sure that we can get out, like, and that's all I see from you, and that's all I get from anybody that I deal with up in here.
Right.
So it's all about trying to get home.
Okay.
While we here.
So what I want you to do, could you go get another Crip
Yes,
or another Damu? Because I'm gonna bring them on so they can see how we do up in these prison yards. So let me now abreast you about my growing up in Watts. Growing up in Watts in California, that's one of the back when I grew up in the 70s, 80s. That was one of the most underemployed area you can be at. Poverty ran everything. Hold on, I got another Crip at the door. I want to interview him so y'all can see what we do in California prison on these maximum prison yards. Like where this shit is real at. How you doing? How you doing, bro? Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, man. I'm Joseph Anthony Williams. I'm out of DeWarty, California.
You a Crip?
Yes, sir, man. Been in prison 15 years. I just wanted to come and give y'all a little knowledge, man.
What is that?
12 calendar days and nights, man. 5-star on Amazon. Go check it out.
Oh, that's your book?
Yeah, man. It's for the youth. Daily motivational read.
All right, look. What are you in prison for?
Man, I'm in prison for robbery, man. They gave me 19 years for one robbery.
God
17 in enhancements.
Oh, is that right?
Been down 15, go home this year.
Oh, is that right? Is you active on the gang shit on these yards or what?
Man, the main thing I press, man, is don't ever involve yourself in none of this that will put you in prison. We're not doing that, man. We coming together as one. It's all about this right here, man.
But the thing is, I'm sure you was told that on the street too. But so how is it that you're gonna affect the youth that's gonna be looking at this when you was told this on the street?
Because the thing that was different from me being told is I'm gonna show them how to do it.
You gonna show them?
I'm gonna give them ways on how not to come to this.
Is that right?
And influence somebody, me doing it, me getting out and showing them, then they're gonna be willing to succeed behind that.
Right.
Everything we do, everything we have learned, it never was really showed to us. We just took it and ran with it.
Right.
As a youth, as far as I can speak for. They coming in here and being in here with like, man, 40 years, and this man is so successful. It's like you have to come in here and do something with yourself so you don't come back here and end up in prison.
Well, me being a Damu, you being the Keyway, how's our relationship?
Man, our relationship is great. You wouldn't even understand that. When I was down in my last suit, I came over here and got a suit from him. Anything I need, I could come to his cell and get. So all the nonsense y'all out there doing is uncalled for. And this coming from a Keyway that been down 15 and a Damu that been down 40.
I've been down 36. It's damn near 40 though.
For what? Come to find out that we related.
Right.
It ain't worth it, man. Y'all kill that out there, man. It's a whole life out there, man.
All right.
Continents, countries, other states, man. Come on, let's take over this, man.
All right. Now, in closing, do you want to let somebody find out how they can get your information or how they can get in contact with you so you can
contact me? I got an Instagram. It's under Blue Strip Bandit, BLU_STRP_Bandit, BANDIT, or Joseph Anthony Williams, CDC G01331.
You brazen.
Please come mess with us, man. We just trying to get support in these walls.
All right. Peace and blessing, young God. You have a good one. All right. Yo.
All right, so that's it. I just took you inside the prison walls so that you could see the young men and what's going on. And this brother been down 36 years from he was 16. He's now 52 years old. I came home at 56, but I went in at 29. So that only made 26 years that I did. So finish your story on how you got involved with the gangs and what it was like growing up in Watts, and why. Was you peer pressured or you chose to get in it? And be honest about this. Talk to the youth so that they know, because they was in the situation you was in, but we're not trying to have them in the situation that you are in now. All right.
So I want people to understand that when I grew up in the 70s, gangbanging, what you see gangbanging is today, gangbanging was like a brotherhood. I had a father, but my father, he was outside the house. He was supportive in certain ways, but he wasn't never supportive in the financial aspect of things. So I grew up looking up to drug dealers and big homies. And that's what I wanted to be, a drug dealer and a big homie. And so I basically grew up in the gang lifestyle. I wasn't even what they called initiated, like beat up and anything like that, because I literally grew up in the gang lifestyle. I was there from day one. A lot of times people are, peer pressure is a big thing when you come to this gang lifestyle, but people must understand, when I grew up in Watts, all my homeboys, all my friends, we were all bloods. And it wasn't something that we was going out to go kill people or nothing like that. But eventually, that's what I got convicted of, being, you know, a part of the gang lifestyle, and a so-called, what y'all call today, a op was killed. It's when you come to prison and you start realizing that these people that we call our ops are not our ops. Although I was in the gang lifestyle real deep, I was also doing things for my community to better my community. But when you try to weigh them out, I was more of a detriment to my community than something that was actually helping my community, because of the lifestyle. It didn't teach us young dudes how to basically better our communities, because it was about this brute way of mentality. We got to get what we can get anyway by any means, right? So when I grew up in Watts, everything was about how can we get some money so we can get our mother out the hood. But every time we was making money, especially a person like me, I'm gonna speak on my. When I was making money, I had on the streets, I was dealing drugs. When I was making money, I had no idea what to do with that money, but spend it with the homies, spend it with females, because I didn't know nothing about any of this. But I'm gonna tell you, the bounty hunters. When I grew up as a bounty hunter, that was one of the most ruthless blood gangs in LA, and they didn't take no shit. So to be a part of that, you had to be ruthless too. And but the killing part, now, I didn't subscribe to the killing part, because I didn't even make it to that area in life yet. Even mentally, I didn't even make it to that area in life yet. So when they charged me with a murder, everybody was thrown off on that one, because they know I didn't do the murder. But eventually, I was convicted of a murder. You know, if you know anything about the Los Angeles sheriffs and their police gangs, I got caught up in one of their conspiracy things that they got going on. It's real big. You can Google it and everything. Um, Me getting caught up in this police gang stuff, throughout the years, I had to realize, well, why was I put in prison? I started realizing that I was put here for a reason. And when I was put here for a reason, I started becoming a voice for the voiceless. And what I mean by that is that a lot of people in prison, we don't have a voice. There's a lot of stereotypes about a lot of men in prison, and some of the stereotypes are true. But there's many of us who are actually in the situations. I'm not talking about guilt or innocent, but are actually good people who just happen to get caught up. And then when we subscribe to that ghetto way of lifestyle, we must understand that shit is going to happen to you, and not always good things. It's going to be some bad things that happen to you, whether you did it or you didn't do it. So when I speak to the youth today, I try to get them to see, man, look, stop biting into that narrative about this. This is your op. We gonna smash him. We gonna kill him. Because I'm telling you, when you hit these prison yards, your whole mentality is gonna change. Because the same dudes that was out there on the streets that you consider busters and stuff, when you hit the prison yard, he might be the one that's running that yard, and you're going to get in. You're going to get in line. So it's this. We have to change the narrative, man. Because I've been fighting my whole life trying to get back out of prison. My whole life has been spent here. 3/4 of my life has been spent behind these prison walls. I was 16 in '89. I'm going this year. I'll be 53. Imagine a 16-year-old child being stripped away from his parents, being stripped away from his community, and said that you're going to die in prison. Hopefully, I can get y'all to understand what I just said. I was sentenced to a slow death. So some people are like, well, was you sentenced to life without? Man, they just gave me a sentence to 30 years to life plus life plus life. That's life without to me. There is no way you can sit and justify a juvenile who is 16 years old to still be in prison 36 years and counting. I hope that this message resonates, because, like I say, when I grew up in the gang lifestyle, we was about protecting each other, protecting the neighborhood, but we really didn't have no structure. When you think about the whole thing, it was really corrupted. And I'm talking about when we started about Los Angeles, where it all started at. We had really no structure. That's why it's the way it is today. This has been the longest surviving, I'm gonna use the word black organization outside of NAACP, the Bloods and Crips. We got over 50 some years in this, and the government hasn't shut us down yet. Reason why? Because they realize we do their work for them. Any organization that has survived this long as a black organization, that means that you're not a threat to the government. So what I mean by that, I'm not trying to make us as threats to the government as well. What I need to do, my whole thing is to get us to come together, because we need a solution to these problems. Every day I get up, I see another little young dude hit these prison yards. I remember back in 1991, I was in Folsom State Prison. One of my thing is that I was so young when I came. I had all the older guys used to call me youngster. And we used to call the older guys pops. And I told this dude one day, I said, man, my worst fear is waking up one day and these youngsters calling me pops. And that's why you got these Crips and these Bloods, all these dudes come to my door, call me pops and uncle now. And that was one of my worst fears.
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. But now I want to say this, right? You said that, and I don't want to glamorize it. That's why I'm going to play devil's advocate right now. You said that for the Bloods or the gangs to be going this long as a black organization, like it must be positive. Is that what you're saying? That's what
No. I'm saying anytime a black organization sprung up, if it wasn't considered a threat to the organization, it survived. Okay. So what I'm saying is that us as Bloods and Crips, we got it wrong. We survived all these years, but we got it wrong.
Why do you have it wrong?
Yes, we got it wrong because what we're doing, we're not only killing each other off, we're also filling up these prisons. Everything we're doing is working against us.
All right, pause. So that's my point. You're filling up the prisons and everything you're doing is against you, but they're letting you still run.
Right.
Don't you think they're letting you still run because you're doing their job, meaning killing each other off?
Yes.
Filling up the prisons? Not so much. And I still don't understand how you meant it. So I want you to clarify that because I want your words out there. But I look at it like they're allowing this. Like what's going on in Chicago? I know you see the news and all that. What's going on in Chicago? They got Saddam Hussein out of a rat hole. You understand what I'm saying? They went and got bin Laden, you know what I mean, with special ops, and they can't stop the gang-banging violence in Chicago or, you know, California or New York, D.C., you know, everywhere. You understand? It's like they want it to happen because I look at it like, in my opinion, they're going to just go back in and reclaim their neighborhood and push our families out because we really have prime real estates because they made what they called back then projects. It was a project. It was a project that they was trying to implement. And that became the name of our housing environment. But we get stuck on the name like you're just saying Cabrini Green, you know, or Lincoln Projects, you know, instead of that. This is a project to see if we could cram these black people to live on top of each other, like the cells behind me, you know, and be able to still save their vote, you know, till our next election. That's the way I look at it.
You're absolutely right. And when people just know the etymology of the word project, it is a project. All this is by design. So when I say about the gangs, the gang culture, man, we have spread it around the world, and it's not of benefit for us in any way. I don't trip on people what gangs you from or anything like that. It's the acts that comes that we perpetuate with this gang lifestyle. We don't have any difference between the East Coast Bloods and the West Coast Bloods. East Coast, they got like a guidebook to exist under. Bloods and Crips over here, we don't have a guidebook. So the thing is, when you have no guidebook, a set of rules to live by, I mean, we all know the unwritten rules like don't tell and stuff like that. We know that. But when you don't really have a set of guideline and rules to live by, you see what happened. That's the difference between the East Coast Bloods and the West Coast Bloods. That's the difference. We have no rules that we live by, so we just governed under just a bunch of dysfunction. So What I say about no, I don't glorify the gang lifestyle, but I know it's here. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not here. It actually is here, and it's been here 50 some years, and it's going to continue to be here. But we got to change the narrative. If we could change the narrative, not tripping what hood you from, what tribe you from, whatever it may be, let's start making it work for us, because it don't work for us. It hasn't worked for us, and it's going to continue not working for us until we start providing solutions and start letting these kids see, like, look, you guys are our future. So we need to change your mindset and make you start seeing the stuff for what it is. That's why I be bringing Bloods and Crips to sell, so they can see, like, when you come to prison, the dude that you talking about, your Blood and Crip, I'm talking about here on the West Coast, it's not going to be that way. So why is you consistently subjecting yourself to something that's going to not only ruin you, but it's a ripple effect. It ruins your family, your community, everybody that's in your life, because you want to be a part of something and not have any kind of, we have no goal to meet in this lifestyle. You can't retire and have a retirement plan. Once you're dead, you're going to have your mother and your friends or whatever, they're going to be out there washing cars to try to get some money. So we got to change the whole narrative of this gang lifestyle, because it lasts all these years for, not for our benefit, but for the government benefit. These are the people that make money off of it.
All right. So that's what I'm saying, right? That's my point. Now, I'm going to go up on the screen because I want to ask you a question. I want you to have time to think about it. All right. Are you familiar with, like, the FBG Duck thing? How he got, unalive. They play with the words on YouTube. How he got unalive over there in Chicago. Are you familiar with that?
No, not offhand. No.
Okay. Well, what happened with that is, I'm going to come off to take you off now. I'm going to explain that. What happened with that is, his alleged ops is the ones that gunned him down. Now, his alleged ops that gunned him down for whatever reason, now they're in prison together. They're living together. You understand? These are the same ones that they ruined their lives to unalive, and then they're put in a prison cell to have to live with each other. And they're from different neighborhoods, or they're from the same neighborhoods even, but just different gangs. So now, while they're from these different gangs, they out here trying to take each other out. But then when they go to prison, they have to unite. You understand? So how do you feel about that? And what message would you tell the kids as far as that's sliding on their ops, and then now they wind up in prison, and their ops is in the same prison as them? They could live together in the prison, but they couldn't live together in the projects.
That's what I was trying to come across by bringing the Crips to the cell, because I want people to see that it's not what you guys think it is. When you come up in here, all these sliding against your ops, man, you're going to be rocking with them in here. And in these close quarters on these prison yards, you are forced to get along with each other. But on the streets, you're not even in close proximity. But why is it that we are, wilding out on the streets, when on these prison yards, you're not going to be wilding out like that? We got to change this. We got to change the game, and we got to continue to expose what goes on in these prisons. So when dudes that get out of prisons, y'all need to start saying, well, fuck my OGs. I don't care about OGs. No, start listening to some of them, because it's the reason why some of them made it to that stage in their life. Some of them may be busted out or whatever, but I'm gonna tell you, most OGs set the stage for you to walk to walk that stage a little most easier. I see that in different states, they got it different on the prison yards. But like he was just breaking down with the Chicago situation, here it is. This supposed to be an op. Now they back in prison together and they cells together. This is going to happen to you. You're going to give your life away. I'm talking about those that's in the street, banged out, sliding on another black man, somebody that looks just like you. And then you're going to be stressing when you come to jail. You're going to pick up your Bible or your Quran. You're going to, all of a sudden, you're going to find Jesus or whoever it is that you pray to. You're going to find that person when you get in one of these cells. And you're going to be stressing out because you're going to hear your boy knocking your girl down. All these things is going to happen. And then, for the most part, most of us don't have not $1 to pay for an attorney or to pay for a bail, but we steady sliding on each other. But when you come up in here, the person that's going to knock you down is one of your homeboys when you get out of line, not your people that you were sliding on them streets. Like, for instance, I cannot go out there to this, even though they got me as somebody that got a little influence on these prison yards. I can't go out this cell and go do something to a so-called op. I can't do it. The way the rules are on these prison yards, you go to their people and tell them, look, your people is out of line. Y'all need to deal with that. And they got to deal with it. So that means that if I was to get out of line and do something that affects the community, they are going to, my own is going to slide on me, not the so-called op. So we got to change this game, and we got to change the mentality of the people, because, you know, I'm giving it to you raw and uncut.
Can't get it no more raw than that, man. And that's the point that I'm making, that I spoke on. I did a video with FBG Duck, and I think I'm going to air it again, because it always do good, because it resonates with the people that, you know, you sliding on your ops on the street, taking somebody's baby, somebody's brother, sister, uncle, you know, innocent bystanders away from sliding. And then you go to prison, and the same people you were sliding against, now you're living together and standing shoulder to shoulder, pushing that steel to protect the same man that you considered as an op, that you gave up something as precious as freedom to be confined. That's what I want you to talk to these people about, because this is a great topic for them to understand that, like you said, Bloods and Crips back in the day, they said that they was warring. You know what I mean? And then now you just showed that you living together 36 years later. And if you'd have lived together 36 years ago, you wouldn't be where you at right now. And neither
Many
would
of
they.
us, many of us, you're absolutely right. Many of us wouldn't be in these situations because, like I say, we have to set not only boundaries, but we have to have rules to follow. That's why they got, you know, the government, they set up laws and shit, say you can't violate these laws. This is what happened. These are disciplines that come along with violate. But we, in our Black communities, we need to start seeing this shit for what it is. We are losing. We are losing in this battle, this war, because it's a war against ourselves. We are the only people that go and shoot up other so-called rivals for streets. Nothing we own, nothing on that street. No, we have no real estate. We have nothing. What is that we doing this for? Most of us don't have no idea what we doing it for. Even in my own hood, most of us, we don't even know what we doing it for, but we do it. And the sad part is that you're going to get caught up. When you're in there, if you got somebody that's slid with you and y'all fighting this case, you don't trust him no more, because you wonder if he's gonna go and turn on you, or if you're gonna turn on him. So it's a whole game. We got to stop playing this game and start looking at the reality of this, and start, you know, just manning up. Or and you know what? Our hip hop culture, we have to do something with that as well. We have to balance the hip hop culture back out again, because it's not balanced no more. It's just a one-sided narrative on what's like more popular. This bullshit as, excuse me, this BS music, the stuff that dominate the sound waves. We need, a lot of times we sit up and say, oh, I just like the beat. I don't care what he's saying. But don't you know that beat is the one that hypnotizes you, and you not realizing the stuff that you say you ain't tripping off of, that's going into your subconscious mind, and you constantly planting that subconscious mind, and you wonder why you do certain things you do, because the stuff you say you're not tripping off on what they saying, it's in your subconscious mind, and it start becoming a reality, and you don't realize where it's coming from.
All right, see, that's what I'm saying. That was well said, right? That was well said. But was your father in your life?
Yeah, he was, but he wasn't. The man, my father, you know, he grew up he was real big in the drug trade himself. I'm gonna say the weed trade. It'd be a little more specific. My father was like this. When I was out there hustling and struggling, my father was more so, I'd be like, Pops, I need some money. My pops was like, look, when I was your age, I went out there and got it. My pops was not really with the you know, giving me hand-downs. He was like, you go out there and get it the way I used to get it. Go, you figure it out. So what that did, because I grew up playing football and track, I was real good at all that. But I realized that wasn't getting me no money. Everybody, you know, everybody in the hood, we all trying to get fly every new school season, every new school year. We trying to get fly just for the females in the hood and all this, or outside the hood, and trying to be good, meaning go to school, play these sports. That wasn't that didn't suit well in my community, in a lot of communities in the ghettos in Los Angeles. That didn't suit well with us. We grew up looking at certain big time drug dealers that basically gave us the blueprint or the idea of what we trying to reach in life, and that was my father. Basically, was the streets. I have a biological father. Actually, I was talking to him the other night, but the streets was more of my father than he was.
Was he in the gang?
Actually, no, my pops wasn't in the gang, but he was in the game, but he wasn't in the gang. Actually, he's one of the ones. He's one of the founders of one of the Paru gangs in Compton, but he wasn't really a gang member. He just one of the founders of it. But like I say, he was more so in the weed trade, real big in that in the 70s, 80s. He was doing his thing. And like I say, it was because of his lack of the financial support would really push me into them streets and me wanting to get it as well. Because the dudes I grew up under, they was big drug dealers, and I wanted to be just like them.
Okay, how old was you when you joined the gang?
I started, it's crazy because, like I said, I literally grew into it. I was really in elementary school when we started throwing it up. When I mean throwing it up, throwing up gang signs and learning the lingos. This is in elementary. So I'm going to say I'm around 9 or 10. I'm around 9 or 10 years old already. I already know the lingos. I know how to walk it. I know how to identify the so-called the arrival, because the colors we wore and the colors they wore. And in Watts, it was the distinctive colors. We had like the Grape Streets, they wore purple. You had the PJ Watts, they wore blue, and every other Crips wore blue. And in my community, it's like 4 projects in Watts, and when we say housing projects, that's in Watts. And
What are those 4 projects?
yeah, you have the Jordans, they house the Grape Streets. You have the Imperial Courts, they house the PJ Watts Crips. You have the Hacienda Village, they're real small, but they house the Hacienda Village Bloods. And then you had the Nixon Gardens, who housed the Bounty Hunters. Now, out of these housing projects, the Bounty Hunters was the biggest projects in Watts, and one of the most dominating project. And so you had over 1,000 plus units in this project. So you can imagine back in the 60s and 70s, back when our mothers and fathers used to have like 4 or 5 kids back then. So if you have over 1,000 units in this project, you can imagine how many boys was produced in there, and young men. So you can imagine how big this gang became. And our neighborhood was like real known for our wars against police. How helicopters was getting shot out the sky, because this was a very ruthless neighborhood. When you think of the Watts riots, so we call it the Watts Revolt in 1965, our neighborhood played a role in that as well. So it's a lot of historic stuff behind Watts in general, because back in the days, all these different housing projects, we all went to the same school, so we all got along until around the early 80s, when crack cocaine started getting real big. And when crack cocaine started getting big, you had a lot of people making you had people making money, and then the weapons start coming in. So this is when the gang rivalries start growing bigger and bigger. Then you had the LAPD, and you had the sheriffs, who were also their own gang, and they hated us. So they did everything in their power to make sure that we do their job. What I mean by their job, because they didn't like us as gang members, or as alleged gang members, they made it to where these wars would be so bloody amongst us that the DAs, the police, everybody's against everything we did, and we was against ourselves. So it was just like a no-win battle, and that's been going on for 50 some years. And hopefully today we can find a solution to helping the next brothers and sisters out there who are getting caught up in there.
Okay, what influenced you to be in a gang?
Well, like I grew up in the gang. I grew up around gang members, and when you saw what they had, the shine they have, the when they go to jail and get out, and how they praise, and like I say, we got a twisted way, a dysfunctional way of seeing things. When you saw the praises that certain people got in the hood, the ones that, like I said, getting fresh out of prison, they got the shine and everybody liking them, embracing them. It plants a seed in the youth head that that's the way to go. So in our way of thinking, we're not realizing that we're handing down something that is going to be detrimental to the future for that youth, because we're praising something that should never been praised. But we also come from a community where we're struggling, poverty, and all this stuff that we're trying to get out as well. So it's like a contradiction going back and forth, and this is the things that we get caught up in.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime. What? Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Real. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours, so we can give back to the